Yes, and when I do try to do it, like and when I try to work on being the present, or I try to do it by sitting still on the edge of the bed before I go to one of the jobs, and palms up, and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed,
Right.
relaxing and going through it. It just seems like I can't get through, like his thoughts are overwhelming, or the state I'm in is overwhelming.
Oh, I see. It's interesting how some people really just find it just like that. They can see it. Z, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse. Can you hear me good?
I hear you. Yes, sir.
Great. Well, I'm calling because listening to you basically helped me in my life and in journey, especially when you were saying everything you were saying. I've seen the light in it, and so I started acting accordingly or moving accordingly to what you were saying, focusing on myself and all of those things. And I see that we're similar in certain ways, like even with the Mustang you said, I had one, and the 10 kids, and stuff like that. It seemed like it was lining up. And but what I called you today was for I've been having trouble with the silent prayer, just breaking that wall, doing it consistently, and getting away from that thoughts. It's been really hard. Like I do work 2 jobs. One is full time, one is part. And so the sleep could play a factor too. But it's been a troubling time trying to get through it and do it consistently. And I've tried, but it just seems like I can't get to that stage where it's like a reset. After I forgave, I'm looking for like a reset where it's like some sense of peace to start off, or some sense of you're on the right track, so to speak. So if you could speak to that, then I would be grateful.
And so you're saying that you're not able to do it every morning, every night because you're working 2 jobs?
Yes, and when I do try to do it, like and when I try to work on being the present, or I try to do it by sitting still on the edge of the bed before I go to one of the jobs, and palms up, and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed,
Right.
Relaxing and going through it. It just seems like I can't get through, like his thoughts are overwhelming, or the state I'm in is overwhelming.
Oh, I see. Here's what I recommend. Don't try to do anything. Don't try to break through the thoughts. Don't try it at all, because it's spiritual and there's nothing you can do about it. All you need to do when you sit to be still like that, all you need to do is watch the thoughts. Don't put any fight into it at all, because when you do, you're trying to fight with the devil. It's a spirit, and you're trying to fight with the spirit of evil, and there's nothing you can do. So don't fight. Just watch it. You know how when you watch TV or something, you just sit there and watch it, and you're not in the movie, you're not fighting with the movie, but you're just sitting there watching it. That's how you do with the thoughts. You watch them, but not fighting. You give up the fight and let the light that is allowing you to see the thought, the darkness, it will fight for you. There's nothing you can do. So don't fight with it at all.
Okay.
And,
Okay. Yes, it's very helpful, because it's been, like you said, I'm like, because when they say like spiritual warfare or something, I went in there on that thought, because it was a thought, and so when I was working on it, it was like, oh, you can power through, or you can keep trying at it, and the sooner way you'll get to the spot where you need to be. But yeah, I will take that. And,
don't believe that. That's still another thought that comes from evil, because the last thing that evil wants is to depart from you. It doesn't want to leave your mind and body, and so it's going to give you all types of lies. But just know that all thought, except for practical thoughts, going to work and eating your dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whatever, but all thoughts are lies. So don't believe it at all, and do not fight with it. You just want to observe it. All right? So if you feel the pressure, I can't break through, don't try to break through. No, you cannot break through, because it is darkness. But the light can break through, and it will.
Yeah, and as far as like forgiving parents and moving out, I am past that 18 stage, and even 19. I'm actually like 27. Never dated, never been out there, in the world doing anything. I probably drunk once. But I've been trying to keep that straight and narrow path. A lot of the stuff that you say, I see. But as far as forgiving and stuff, I didn't know that was something I needed to do. Searching through different pastors, like online, like Miles Monroe, different people like that, looking for answers. So when I heard you say it definitely hit home, and it was very clear. And when I was sitting by myself, I was able to see, like, my mom especially, because I was living with my mom and stepfather.
Amazing.
And so I was able to see it. So I went to them. Actually, even though I was listening for a while, I didn't have everything I needed, I guess I want to say I need to move out and do everything on my own. But I was carrying on, even though I was living with them, I was carrying on as if I was living by myself. Like, I was paying either more than the rent sometimes or my part of the rent and helping out around the house in every area, extending myself. So eventually when I heard you, I said, I have to move out. And so I did that about a month ago now. And I came, before I left, I said I would have a meeting. I sat down with my stepfather and I forgave him for, how you said, basically like for resenting him, because I understand what he was trying to do, but he was weak. And I see it from his children because he had two with my mom. My brother went off and living a rough life. He's in his early 20s. My sister has a lot of anger, and I even talked to her about it, and she seemed to try to work on herself. So,
nice.
But she's still there with them. So I told her, I'm like, you're going to have to do something because it is your time to start trying to live your life. She has a lot of talents, and everybody see it. I'm like, go and do that. But yeah, as far as my mom, which I wound up talking to her yesterday on the phone again. But I did go and talk to her after I moved out. I came back and told her that I wanted to have a talk with her, and sat down and had that talk. And she understood to a certain extent. Well, she didn't understand everything, but some of the stuff she said she didn't understand. But she said she was going to, seek on it. So I left it alone, as you said. Don't worry, whatever happens. I went there, and I when you say shaking, like I felt a physical shaking in my legs.
Yeah.
But when I was talking, but
every human being is afraid of their mother.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what the age is. But once they go and forgive her, shaking in their boots and forgive her, then the fear of her will disappear, and you would deal with her like you would anyone else. You're no longer a child, you're an adult. And you would deal with her in the way that you deal with everybody.
Yes, and I even felt that when I finished I was still continue the conversation with her. I was talking to her in like a boldness, courage.
Yeah.
And I was just telling her basically how I felt, or expressing all the things. And I was telling her, like you say, it's not you. It's like a spiritual part of you, but you haven't overcome. And I was telling her about her mom or grandmom, and like basically, like I could see the light shining through the whole family. I see why everything is broken up the way it is. And basically, I was like, she doesn't want to forgive her mom. She don't want to point the finger at her mom. She's scared.
Yeah.
And I understand, like you say, I understand it. And I see a lot of things going on in the world, and I understand it. And as far as my father, I thought that, I was holding something against him. So I scheduled a meeting, like last week or so, and through Facebook, and I told him I wanted to meet at David Buster's in Philadelphia. And so we wanted a meeting and sitting down and having a conversation. And when I was looking at him, it was just like a split image of myself.
Yeah.
And it was like, I can't even be mad at this person no matter what. I didn't have anything in my heart, and he didn't have anything. He thought that I would resent him or that I was holding something against him. But when I was talking to him, it was like, I don't have anything, but I know I did. So I need to just, get rid of that so I can make sure that I'm all good. And he understood once I started breaking everything down from even Adam and Eve, from Adam and Eve all the way down. He started understanding everything I was saying compared to my mom. She was like, had to watch other videos and everything, but he understood right away and was like, okay, I understand, son. And now he wants to get back together again and,
nice.
Do some events and different things like that. So I'm happy with that door open. But at the same time, I take my time with it,
Yes, that's right. Fathers love their children, And when they leave, they don't leave their children. They leave the mother of the children, but the mother makes you think they left you. She won't admit they left her because she was difficult. And the children love their fathers. Adult children as well as small children, they are yearning for their fathers. They don't resent their fathers. They are yearning for their fathers. And those who think they resent their father with the mother's resentment, not their own. It's the mother's resentment. Evil is a mess, man. It'll make you believe whatever it wants you to believe when you're in that fallen state like that. You know, I want to encourage you, Z, to stick with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. It's going to become lighter and brighter, and your mind will become clearer and clearer, and you will understand the world as clearly as you understand yourself. And it's going to be fun working on yourself. There's no fun greater than working on yourself. You're on the right track, man. Stay with it. Stay with it. That's deep. That's amazing.
Yes, and I also when I moved out too, it's like I was telling Sean basically like that. I feel like I'm free outside, but inside I need to work on, like as you said, allow it to happen, to be free inside. So it's like always peaceful, not like senses of peace or something like that, but it's truly real.
Yes.
And like that's what I'm working on now. And it feels so good to be alone, no burdens, no outside voices besides the ones that's already going crazy inside.
Yeah.
And so and
amazing.
Yes, it is amazing. I'm glad that I don't know how I found you, came across. I know it's through YouTube, but I don't know what started it. I know I've been seeking out different voices and stuff like that to hear, but it all come back to me. And I have spent time before with myself to understand what was going on. I didn't know it run this deep and where it came from as far as like parents. And even that video with the guy that said anger killed me. I don't remember his name. But there was a video,
right?
Yes, and I shared that with the family, and they were so deep. And I was like, and I told them, I was like, y'all, you can tell without going too deep that this is how it's supposed to be. Like that is a start ground. I wish it is to be a Christian or believer, where he was saying he was a placer and he takes some time before he responds, or he sits alone, and all the stuff he was saying is like, you know, it's true. Just as you say, what you say, you know it's true. The light shines on it.
Yeah.
And it proves itself.
Amazing, Z. You know, and the reason you were able to find me is because when you seek, the fact that you were seeking and looking around and trying different things, the Father was pointing you and guiding you in until you finally heard the truth. Now it has awakened in you. And I'm telling you, man, it's going to only get better and better, because once you truly wake up, not just intellectually, but spiritually, and you've done that, ain't no way you'd ever go back, because there's nothing to go back to. And so just stay with it, And if you can't do the silent prayer at a certain time because you work, don't judge it. Just realize, bring your mind back to your body, and stay with it, And your mother, she knows what you're saying is true about what she's done, but she's just not ready to admit it. And that's on her. Let her stay in her hell. Let her stay in her suffering. There's nothing you can do about it. You just live your life, and it's just going to be amazing.
Yes, and as you said, I see it, and I fully accept it. Like, I already understand. I see it. I'm like, if she's not going to do it because she holds, as you say, how do you say that they hold the women in the community as God? I see it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's how it is to her, because my mom, like my grandma, is a pastor too, and so.
She a pastor, you say?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Your poor mama.
And she's been pastor for I was brought up under, like, she had her own, like, home church, and we was all brought under, and it was like,
what a mess.
It was like she was teaching us how to study and stuff, but it was, you know, everybody since then has been battling stuff. It's not like how you say, like, you can see what you say, you see answers and solutions and what you say.
Yeah.
You know, There's something, it's not just like spiritual, but it's also practical, because you're saying go and forgive. Whereas though there it was like read the Bible and study and giving stuff where it's like too far to reach. Like you won't ever grasp anything, and you don't know to work on yourself. Like that's never taught, is to work on yourself. You're always looking outside, like looking at the book, the Bible, or you looking to go to different churches, fellowship, all of that type of stuff was outside. And so I think that's really what's messing. Yeah, it's really messing up the family because the family was under the church. It wasn't like it was some outside friends, but majority of the church makeup was all family. So
what a mess!
It is a mess.
One thing I realized when anyone tell you to look outside for the answer, that is your enemy. And when they say look outside, the answer is not on the outside of you; it's on the inside of you. It's not on the outside. And when they tell you, oh, just read the Bible, oh, just go to church, oh, look here or look there, that's your enemy. And so I'm glad that you're now looking within. And I got to run, but stay with it, stay with it. You haven't seen anything? It gets better, Z. Just stay with it. I truly
believe it. Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate everything.
All right, buddy. Call me again.
All right, definitely.
All right. Amazing. It's interesting how some people really just find it just like that. They can see it. Some people are a little harder, and they eventually get there. Some people take a little bit longer, but they don't give up, and they eventually get there. That's amazing.